Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This is William Hindman. I'm your host. This is Just Force 911, where we look how our public officials do their job or they just pooch screw it up. Guys, this is the sixth time that I've tried to do this video because of the lies, the deception, the bald-headed prick they have that is the police chief, who is nothing more than a liar and a inflammatoryist, I would imagine. Real quick, this comes to us from Lackluster and also from the odd side. Okay, so do me a favor. Go over to the odd side, go over to Lackluster, tell them I sent you guys over there. I'm going to do this differently than Lackluster. Lackluster does it at a common keel. Very nice, very simple, a lot of information. I'm giving you my opinion, okay? So do me a favor, go over to the odd side, go over to Lackluster, subscribe to them, check them out, hit their thumbs up, hit their like and share, and help them out, okay? Tell them I sent you guys over there. While you're here, we are 3930 on subscribers. We're trying to get to 4,000. If you guys can subscribe, please do so. Hit the like and share. Hit the thumbs up. Now, I'm going to ask you guys to do me one of two things. Go to the comment bar on this and either hit 911 if you agree with me or hit 000 if you don't. Okay? After you watch this, if you hit 000, it means you do not agree. If you hit 911, it means you do agree. I want to see how you guys react to this video. I am so sick and tired of these cop shops across the country, police chiefs, sheriffs, they're scumbags that try to make a situation that they screw up, try to flip it on the citizens that they are sworn to protect. These assholes took an oath to protect the citizens of the United States of America, and they don't do crap. Now, most of them have a 15 IQ. I get that, and that's why they can't do their job. But I am so sick and tired of hearing about, oh, this happened and that happened. You have a young man who's carrying an AR-15 strapped around his neck, legally, a handgun beside him, legally, in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Goes into Walmart, gets what he needs, and leaves. Walmart didn't have a problem with it. Or, excuse me, not Walmart, Walgreens. Sorry, my mistake. Because Walmart will not allow you into a store with a firearm. Okay, my mistake. It's Walgreens, not Walmart. Anyway, Walgreens didn't have a problem with it. Somebody told an officer that there was an armed guy walking into a Walgreens. Instead of going and investigating, they blow this out of proportion, start arresting people, and you got to watch the timestamps on this stuff, guys. This stuff happens after they get the young man that has the weapons secured. Now, why did they secure him? Officer safety, which is nothing more than officer cowardness. The school that the cowards sat and watched children be executed because they said, oh, we can't go in there. We don't have the stuff to protect us. And then arrested parents that were willing to go in there and get their kids. Hello? You want another one? The detective that falsified records to get a warrant in Texas that went to prison for falsifying a warrant. Husband and wife killed, house shot up. Racketeering by a sheriff in Florida behind bars. This doesn't stop. You have entire police departments that are torn apart because of stealing, drugs, selling drugs, buying drugs, selling weapons, stealing evidence, racketeering, not telling the truth on affidavits, lying while under oath. It goes on and on. It never changes. Why, as a society, do we not call for these scumbag sovereign citizens, officers, because they think they're above the law? Why do we not call for the resignation? Get rid of them. Get somebody that's qualified to do the job, because evidently these guys aren't. This bald-headed dickhead comes out and makes a whole bunch of glorified remarks. Well, we took him down. Why? He was legal. Well, officer safety. Oh, you mean officer cowardness? Is that what you're talking about? Why did you beat up the black gentleman 5 minutes after? Why are you yelling at people after the young man is already disarmed? Why do you disarm him? He was legal. Officer safety. No, officer cowardness. That's what it is. You guys are a bunch of cowards, hiding behind your qualified immunity. That big blue shield you guys hide behind. Your union. The lady that got fired in Florida for abusing a gentleman in a T-shirt and shorts was fired. The union came back and said, you can't fire her. It was because social media got involved. What? Yeah, social media got her fired. No, she got herself fired because she can't do her job. And then they had to hire her back. We saw on video. Well, who are you going to believe? Me because I'm a cop, or your eyes? Your eyes don't tell you the truth. I will. I'm a cop. No, you're a lying scumbag. Like the rest of your clowns in blue. All right, let's get on with the video. Enough of me barking.
Keep going, dude.
9mm handgun on his hip.
Go to the sidewalk or you're going to jail.
To address those individuals in a respectful way.
Do not touch me, dude.
People need to recognize that officers have the lawful right to put their hands on you.
Get back over this way.
Comply now, complain later.
Welcome back.
Did you hear what he just said? A, officers have the right to put their hands on you. Not if you haven't broken the law, they don't. You don't even have to talk to them. But it's all about officer cowardness. Comply now, complain later. No. You have to follow the law the same as we do. Just because you're a scumbag and you think that you're above the law because you're a sovereign citizen, I got news for you. This bald-headed prick couldn't tell the truth if he was sitting on it.
To the Lackluster channel. On June 13th, the Grand Rapids Police Department went viral online for their complete and utter incompetence. Police Chief Eric Winstrom responded to the public's outrage by holding a press conference.
Now, did you catch that? The public outrage. So he's trying to do damage control. And instead of telling the truth that they made a mistake, he glorifies this. The guy was carrying a handgun. He was carrying an AR-4 or AR-15. He could have shot up the place. Well, was he? No. He was carrying his guns exactly how he was supposed to. By Michigan law. In Grand Rapids, Michigan. The only people that messed this up is his people. The deputies. And then this bald-headed prick. Like I said, guys, either 911 if you agree, 000 if you don't.
All right, hey, thanks guys for coming. Late notice, I know, but on January, oh boy, falling apart already. June
Falling apart? You mean you are messed up on your lies? Imagine that.
13th, so that was this Friday at about 9:15 a.m. One of our officers patrolling down at the 1600 block of Kalamazoo was flagged down by an individual, said an armed man was just seen going into the Walgreens down there.
Instead of informing the public that Michigan law allows individuals 18 and older to openly carry legally owned pistols without a permit, Chief Winstrom deflected, citing unrelated crimes that had nothing to do with the incident at hand. He then pivots to talk about gun violence, despite the fact that no violence occurred until after his officers arrived.
Clearly, my officers have the direction that is proactively what they're going to do, address gun violence. A very scary situation where an individual is seen going in, verified, he comes out, he has an AR-15 around his neck, he has a 9mm handgun on his hip. From an outsider's point of view, you could look, it's a potential active shooter situation.
Just because you have a great imagination and no hair, I don't get it. You have somebody peacefully carrying the Second Amendment in Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan, where it's legal, and you make it into a toxic situation. Congratulations, dickhead. You did a great job.
Mass casualty incident, but we recognize that we have to do the full investigation. So that's where this video starts, where an investigation is going to take place by the officers. They handle it extremely well. They're fantastic at de-escalating. They take what could have been a deadly officer-involved shooting to a very peaceful conclusion.
You will soon.
How is that? It was already a peaceful situation until you clowns got involved.
Find his statement to be false.
Unfortunately, during this entire incident, a few individuals insert themselves in a situation in an illegal, improper manner. Officers, as you will see, go above and beyond to address those individuals in a respectful way.
Not touching you.
Punching a guy in the face is respectful? Well, according to this bald-headed clown, it is. Because this guy's injecting himself. Now, look at the timestamp. It's 5 minutes after this has happened.
What? I said,
to get them to comply with their lawful orders, because they are placing themselves and everyone else in more danger. And then you'll see, of course, there's been a video circulating online of a use of force incident then, where as officers were attempting to take one individual into custody, second individual interfered with that arrest, was subsequently taken into custody as well. We're going to take questions after this, and I'll let the video speak for itself as it rolls.
Now, I have a question. After this happens, there's going to be a lawsuit. Not only from the gentleman with the Second Amendment that's been happened, but also the cop that punched the black gentleman for no reason. And they're going to come to us and say, well, you guys need to, you society needs to pay for our, insurrections. No. Why don't we take it out of your pension fund? Let's see how funny it is then. Once we wipe out your pension funds, and then we'll pay the rest of it. But let's let you guys pay for the beginning of it. But no, because you have feelings, and you have to be able to take care of your family. Well, you know what? You screwed it up. You should get to pay.
The chief then plays a few short clips of body cam footage taken during the incident, poorly edited to paint their unconstitutional actions as heroic.
Officer cowardness.
Go over that way. Keep going, dude.
We get one more car here.
Yeah.
He'll come back to us.
Yep.
He was compliant. He's open here.
Despite having a compliant, lawful firearm owner with his hands raised above his head, The officers hold him at gunpoint to wait for backup. Then they purposefully play 3 sections of video to lead the public to believe a threat was present, after the man open carrying was detained and unlawfully disarmed. The first clip shows a timestamp of 9:16 and 30 seconds.
Get back over this way, everyone, please. Let's go. You're in the back, stop, man. Okay, we need to get you back just because you're in the background of a could be bad situation. Okay, back up. Back up. Back
Well, the only reason it'd be a bad situation is because you guys made it that way.
up. They already told me what's going on, so back up, please. Please back.
The next shows a timestamp of 9:16 and 7 seconds.
Keep going. Go now. It's your last chance. You're going to jail. Back up now.
Go around the other side of the Walgreens. Well, you're in their backdrop, so it's not a good place to stand.
Okay, last chance to go to the sidewalk or you're going to jail.
The chief played those
Now, that sounds like de-escalation, doesn't it? Move your ass or you get to go to jail. These guys are a joke.
clips first to make it appear that the man lawfully carrying his firearms had not been taken into custody, though he had complied and was disarmed at 9:14.
It's going down the hill. Stop right there. I'm gonna have you come to your right, okay? Yes, sir. Come to me. Keep coming this way. Come 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 this way. Stop right there. Okay.
It's right here on my hip, and then you can take this off my neck.
All right. I'm gonna take this off of you.
Yep. It's one in the head, in the chamber.
That's on me. Sorry, Sean.
And then you could just take this off my neck. It's strapped on.
1917 case out that way.
And you're disarming them because of officers or cowardness.
All right. Yep, that's on me
And
again.
my ID's right here, sir. It's in this hand right here.
No,
The pistol, the AR pistol, is in this wallet right here.
Okay, perfect. All right. Anything else on you?
No, you go ahead and shut me down, sir.
He then plays a clip that occurs 5 minutes after the unlawful detention, where his officers unlawfully arrest a man for not backing up, though he was more than 50 feet away from the subject during the incident.
Sir, you're under arrest. Put your hands on top of your head.
Listen, I put my life on the line for that kid.
Don't dig around in your
I'm trying to put my
pockets.
phone away.
Right?
Listen, hey.
Back up or you will go too. Back up or you will go to jail
Take
too.
my phone, please.
3 officers pull the man in opposing directions. As he tosses his phone to a friend for safekeeping, he is thrown off balance by the officers and then thrown to the ground, all for recording an incident 5 minutes prior.
Okay, son, get down.
Yeah, 5 minutes after it was over, they pull this. But they are such great officers because they saved the community from an active shooter who was doing nothing wrong except following the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. But these clowns don't care about that. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about your rights. They only care about officer cowardness.
Hey.
Back up now or you go to jail. Back up. Back up now.
Come on, man.
You need to back up.
Don't touch me. Do not touch
Back
me,
up.
dude.
The department adds this slow motion sequence,
I said don't touch me.
but they allow that portion to play through, preventing the public from seeing that the officer was the first to start pushing and then throws a punch at the man's face.
And this is one of these boys in blue who punched a gentleman. And you're going to see it. Keep in mind, this is 5 minutes over the time that it's all over with. Because these are tough guy cops. Man, they're on the job. What a bunch of cowards.
Then this message is shown on screen before replaying a different angle of the officer pushing and then punching the witness.
And once again, a lie. The guy struck an officer. No, the officer pushed him. He pushed his hands off of him because he doesn't want to be touched by a scumbag cop. And then the cop punches him twice. But yet, this bald-headed prick doesn't mention that because it's not the right narrative for his officers. You know, I hope this thing goes viral. I really do. Because I hope a whole bunch of people see this. And I hope a whole bunch of people are pissed off and mad. Because they should be. Because these scumbags can't tell the truth and can't do their job. Oh, wow, that's new.
Touch him!
It's almost jittery enough to miss the criminal actions of the officer. Unfortunately, the department's editor did not attempt to edit this portion of the video to make it viewable. But I did.
Don't touch him!
Watching again in slow motion shows the officer first push the man. The man then pushes the officer's hand off of his chest. Immediately after, the officer throws the first punch.
Okay, now keep in mind that the police chief said, we have the right to touch you, even if you've done nothing wrong. No, you don't. And then we have the right to punch you because we're cops.
Striking the man on the left side of his face, the man's wife attempts to stop the officer from battering her husband as he ducks and sidesteps. The officer pushes the woman and follows the man's movements and attempts to punch the man again.
Officers, as you will see, go above and beyond to address those individuals in a respectful way.
That is all of the footage the department released, though.
That's respectful? 5 minutes after it's over, one of your cops pushes somebody and then punches them twice. Okay. That's why you're a lying scumbag. That's why.
The beatings continued until the man was apprehended after being tased.
We are so used to being videotaped. As long as you are at a safe distance from officers, of course, you're lawfully allowed to videotape. It's part of your First Amendment rights. That is clearly not the case here, where that individual was standing directly behind, in the line of fire of an individual armed with not one, but two deadly weapons.
Another lie. You know, these guys are so used to lying that they think that their lies are truth. That's the scary part.
And people need to recognize that officers have the lawful right to put their hands on you. When that officer put just his fingertips on that person, let him know this is a very serious situation. This is not a request. You will back up for the 9th time. And he hit that officer like that. Now he became an active aggressor. Obviously, that takes it to a higher level. What is going to be reasonably believed to be effective to address the situation at this time? That's why it escalated to a point where eventually that individual was tasered.
The chief continues, revealing that the activists were known by the department, and inserts again that the female cop was begging them to move without adding the relevant context that the lawful firearm owner was already unlawfully detained.
So officers did a fantastic job. I think you can say it was a misunderstanding. I know the individuals involved, the 3 individuals that were on this tape. As I said in the past, I think they're good people. They may have thought that they were doing the right thing at the time, but in the context, you got to understand. Listen to the way, especially the female officer, talked to these individuals over and over. She's pleading with them, please get out of the way, please. And why is she saying that? Because they put themselves in a situation where they are in danger.
But they weren't in danger. They were to the side, not behind. But because of your lying scumbag bald-headed crap, you want everybody to think that you were the heroes instead of the zeros that you guys actually are. And the rest of your scumbag blue brothers and sisters across the country who can't tell the truth, can't do their job right, think that they have authority to touch you. Come here, I want to talk to you. Well, unless I broke the law, I don't have to talk to you. And what's worse is I don't want to talk to you because of all your scumbag boys and girls in blue that have done the wrong thing. You guys don't know how to do the right thing.
They're also endangering everybody else involved. If their participation made that a more, if their participation, like with their friend here, where you see that they're sort of all interacting with each other and all believing like, hey, we don't have to follow the law. We don't have to obey these commands of these officers. Can you imagine if that young person who had that AR-15 rifle was motivated by...
It wasn't a rifle. It was a handgun. It's an AR pistol. If you're going to say the words, say the truth. Don't try to make yourself look good. Because as a bald-headed prick, you're not. You're just another scumbag in blue.
By the resistance that these adults in the community, and as
that happened 5 minutes after it's over.
I often say, what we need to drive crime down in this community is our adults taking interest in young people, doing the right thing by young people, mentoring young people. So we have adults that are standing right behind these young people, openly ignoring lawful instructions from the police.
But they weren't lawful because they were standing to the side, not directly behind, like your lying scumbag says you are.
One of those individuals is armed with not one, but two deadly weapons at AR-15. Those rounds can go for literally over a mile and still be deadly. If that individual was inspired by the lack of lawful behavior by these individuals, we could have been having a totally different and tragic conversation today.
And if the world blows up tomorrow, then what?
So, as I said, I think these three individuals, I think they're good people. I think they just made a very bad decision that day.
Yeah, they listened. They were around your officers that put them in danger. And when the lawsuits come out, you guys are going to be crying. Well, we have qualified immunity because they didn't listen to us.
After demonstrating a rich misunderstanding of ballistics and the constitutional limitations of his authority, he is then asked whether the firearm owner was released.
Are you allowed to open carry in public? Yes. Of course, that doesn't count for private property. I know Walgreens' corporate policy is they do not allow open carry, so that certainly adds to the reasonable suspicion of the citizens in the community that waved down that officer and said, there's a man in there, he just walked in there with a handgun. That obviously, knowing that he's not a law enforcement officer, dressed the way he was, that he didn't show any indicia of any sort of lawful authority, that's a concern. If we didn't take action in that scenario and that individual took some sort of illegal steps, we would be crucified. We would be totally in the wrong. We have a duty to take actions.
Once again, the chief is incorrect. The courts have ruled over and over that the police have no specific duty to protect the citizens that are forced to pay them.
Those three young people who are very cooperative, they were released, no charges whatsoever.
Chief, can you tell us what is your message for the community members that come up on the scene, they want to help or they want to observe and make sure things are appropriate? What should community members do in that
I'll tell you,
situation?
easiest message you can say, said it time and time again, comply now, complain later. Every single, and this is probably social media video number 15 that I've been asked to respond to. This is the first time I've done a press conference just because it got so much attention. Every single one, the first question I ask when somebody brings it to my attention, okay, did the individuals comply with the lawful instructions of the officers? Well, no, but he shouldn't have.
Okay, but to be a lawful order has to be backed up by law, not just because one of your goons says it. This is law of the land, the United States of America. This is not the first time this has come up. This is like the 10,000th time this has come up. And it's always the same. To be a lawful order, it has to be backed up by a law. Not just because your scumbag officers say so.
Punched him. He shouldn't have done this. He shouldn't have done that. Comply now, complain later.
No, it's not comply now, complain later. It has to be a lawful order, backed up by law.
As you could see from the video, every single one of my officers who responds to 911 calls, they are armed with a body-worn camera. We have in-car camera in every one of those cars, so there is other angles. There is so much accountability. I am more than happy to review a use of force, to examine it and say, Absolutely. We need better training. We need to discipline this officer. Maybe this officer isn't suitable for police work. We hold our officers to the highest standards.
That's a lie. No, you don't. You have a bunch of 15 IQs that between 5 of them, they couldn't pour piss out of a boot.
Certainly in the state of Michigan, possibly across the country.
Confidence, real or pretend, is your magic ingredient.
We just watched quite a bit of instructions. Maybe stern, certainly no one was rude in this, but if you believe that those instructions were improper, bring it to my attention and we will absolutely address it, but do not.
No, you won't, because you're going to back your boys in blue. How many times do we have to see this?
Especially when you don't have the whole context of what's going on, do not attempt to interfere at the scene. That's my message. Thanks for the question.
The chief is then asked about a complaint filed by one of his officers' victims, which sends him spiraling on another rant that has nothing to do with the incident and only appears to deflect blame onto people who weren't involved in either incident.
Have I watched every single body-worn camera? No, I'd have to read his complaint to see what it is the complaint is, but a lot of what I saw and what was, I tell you, of all the incidents that happened, I'll share another frustration that I had. Okay, I just talked about the 2 people that we had murdered. 30-year-old, we had a 15-year-old girl killed, shot in the head and killed. And 0 community members reached out to me about that 15-year-old girl that was killed. They never asked about the firefighters, the police officers, the EMS that were at the scene that worked so hard to try and save her life. They never asked about the efforts that the department's taking so that we could stop the violence. We had 2 15-year-old kills last year. 0. I don't know, I might have had 50 people reach out to me on this video. Extremely frustrating. And I don't even remember what your question was. You just took me off on a tangent. Can you ask it again? That was a large man. As you saw, I don't think that punch landed. I think it was a glancing blow, the one that you saw there. But even if it did land it, I don't know that would have been effective in addressing that situation. Eventually, the officers tasered him. It was a very dangerous situation, and it didn't have to be that way. But
yeah, it didn't have to be that way, but your officer made it that way. Illegally.
Short answer to your question, what you tolerate, you condone, and we're not going to put up with things that could take us down that slippery slope of lawlessness.
Well, that's rich. At the end of the day, the greatest threat to gun ownership doesn't come from politicians. It comes from the very people we're told are here to protect us. Police unions regularly oppose pro-gun legislation, support red flag laws, and advocate for disarming the public while arming themselves to the teeth. And when that time comes, it won't be lawmakers kicking in your door. It'll be armed agents of the state, hiding behind badges. Like it or not, police have become the largest anti-gun group in America, and they'll be the ones ordered to carry out the confiscation. I know a large portion of this audience may disagree with the right to private gun ownership, but if you made it to this part of the video, I'd be quite interested to hear what you have to say. So, let me know what you think in the comments, and if you value the efforts invested in these productions, check out another episode, linked on screen.
Okay, guys, so, like I said before, if you would, go over to Lackluster, tell him I sent you. Go over to the Odd Side, tell him I sent you guys over there, please. Please subscribe to them, hit their like and share, leave them a comment and a thumbs up. And while you're here, remember, if you agree with me, put in the comments 911. If you disagree with me, put in 000. Okay? I'm going to see where you guys are going with this, because I am sick and tired of hearing these complainants come out and say, oh, we did our job great. It's the public that screwed us up. What? Yeah, they baited us. They made us act that way. You have a 15 IQ. You can't even put words together. That makes sense. Your lies are a joke. Your boys in blue have become a joke. Your union, the police unions, have tried their very best to take the guns away from the Americans. It's not like Lackluster said, it's not going to be the politicians. It's going to be the armed police. They're going to come in and take your guns. Good luck taking mine. I won't be around because I'll be dead. It's that simple. You're not taking my guns. These clowns are a joke. They need to be off the streets. Remember, guys, always film the police and your public officials because you can't trust them. Let me know what you guys think in the comments with either a 911 if you agree with me or a 000 saying you don't. Okay? You guys have a great day. Be safe. Do something good for somebody. Hopefully it'll come back to you. All right? You guys have a good and safe one. Thank you.